Augustus Sinclair è ciò che accade quando il relativismo morale privo di spina dorsale viene applicato all'etica degli affari. Quell'uomo ha le sue sporche mani in pasta dappertutto. Ma devo ammettere che la sua piccola società può tornare utile. Gli sto facendo usare il marchio Sinclair Solutions per condurre esperimenti clinici sul campo. Se si verificano incidenti con effetti collaterali con i plasmidi più nuovi e meno stabili, nessuno associerà la Ryan Industries a quelle morti.
Sento spesso dire: Mr. Sinclair ha il cuore di pietra, non vuole condividere nulla con un amico? E io rispondo: io vengo dalla soleggiata Panama. Mio nonno morì annegato costruendo il grande fosso. Ripeteva sempre che lo faceva per il popolo, per il mondo intero. Beh, con me non attacca, grazie tante. Io mi sono trasferito in Georgia per arricchirmi e a Rapture per arricchirmi ancora di più. Non mi vedrete mai esalare l'ultimo respiro per qualcun altro.
Sofia Lamb's had her eye on Rapture for years, and now she's got it. She started preaching unity and brotherhood for the downtrodden right here in the drop. This movement springing up around her is almost a kind of old-time religion. Now, these governors Lamb's got in charge would never have seen power in Ryan's day. They're nobodies, really. But I used to raise spaniels, and the only thing meaner than the top dog was the underdog, when he had just plain had enough. If a smart fella wanted to talk some bankrupt fat cat into moving to a slum, he'd call the place a hotel on the nightly. The tenant dries his eyes and tells himself it's only temporary, and the smart fella shaves a dime a day off his drinking wage. Now, a smarter fella might also bankroll the local gin joints and take him for the rest.
Why do I survive when others do not? First a prison camp, then Rapture. Both times I become the right breed of monster to continue my work. They called me Girl Who Is Flashlight, shining brightly on one thing at a time, but blind to the world around me. The Adam slug we implanted inside the little ones is similar. It samples the DNA, it adapts. We thrive, even as the world is drowning.
Today, Ryan asked me to give a backstage tour to a few consultants who will be working with him on designing the ride. I recognize some of them. But there was that composer, Cohen. This ride has all the acoustic qualities of a back alley hobo jamboree, he says. Lovely person. Doc Lamb was a real treat, too. She looked at the exhibits like she was an owl with her eye on a titmouse. These freaks are gonna cook up some real fun for the kiddies of Rapture. I can see it now.
Working security at this park should have been a breeze. Point some old ladies towards the John, listen to the radio, maybe pull down the brim of the cap and catch a few Z's. Turns out I'm on my feet more than a beat cop. Teeny boppers jumping off the ride, kids throwing ice creams at the exhibits. I've got someone in the holding cell every day. Brother, this park really brings out the best in people.
Amici miei, vi sentite afflitti dalla depressione da plasmidi? Vi sentite confusi, nauseati? Vedete cose che non ci sono? Panacee e rigeneranti del dottor Hollcroft. Tutto il potere ristoratore dell'Adam genuino a metà prezzo. Non perdete tempo.
10 gallons of desalinized seawater, $1.85. 50 pounds of remnants from Fontaine's fisheries, $10.50. $20 and change for a gross of Sinclair's wholesale hypos. 2 ounces of pure Adam. That's $45 to Ryan. Put them together and what do you get? A cool grand's worth of Doc Hollcroft's cure-all and root maker. Placebo effect. I tell ya, it's a capitalist's best friend.
My God, it was only 3 years ago that I was considered amongst the preeminent pantomime artists in France. My countrymen held the art form in high esteem, but in Rapture, I have been reduced to a simple clown, humiliating myself for these cackling little brats, ushering them snot-nosed into this wretched amusement park. I've stooped so low as to speak while performing. On the surface, I may not have been rich, but I had my dignity.
Little sisters are all gone. I ain't seen one since who knows when. Big Daddy's still wandering around, keeping busy. I see a leak spring in a window. Then one of the big oafs wanders on by and seals it up. Like clockwork. If it weren't for them, Rapture would have been completely flooded for years, I figure. Big, dumb animals. Why can't you just let it end?
Non indovinerai mai cosa ha fatto tuo figlio oggi. Stavamo lasciando la giostra dopo una giornata al Dionysus Park e lui stava fissando uno di quei terrificanti Big Daddy. Quando gli ho chiesto cosa stesse guardando, non mi ha voluto rispondere. Oh, Harold, perché ci hai lasciati? Billy ha bisogno di un padre. Ne ha così bisogno che lo vede persino in un ammasso di alghe corazzate. Come hai potuto fargli questo?
What happened here? Under the crust of grime, I can see what this place used to be. An absolute marvel of human accomplishment, kept a secret all this time. A secret hidden from the rest of the world. My daughter's here. Somewhere. But I'm on my own finding her. The trains still work, mostly. I'll see where they lead. Cindy, honey, Daddy will find you.
Ero sul punto di ottenere un nuovo grado, altissimo e potentissimo tenente stronzo delle forze private di Ryan. Ma la dottoressa Lamb mi ha fatto capire che io devo servire la gente comune, non Ryan. Ho voglia di pregare, eppure non mi rivolgo a Dio da quando indossavo i calzoni corti. E non sono più l'unico. Ormai molti di noi indossano quelle spille a forma di farfalla, quindi chi se ne frega se sembra un po', come dire, a finocchi.
Hearken unto me, my children. I must tell you of the Demiurge, the proud and blind architect of all creation. The Demiurge was the dream of the one true God, cleaved apart from him as he slept. It held a part of the Lord's energy and took the shape of a worm with the head of a lion. Ignorant of the one true God, and believing itself to be the sole craftsman of the firmament, the Demiurge breathed life into the earth, and so it wrought the crude and base design men call natural selection. Life was cast in moving clay. One ineffable spark of the sublime Creator, thrust by the worm into imperfect flesh, and ascending only over eons of ignorance, pain, and sin. Too late did the one God wake, and saw what the Demiurge had done. The Lord then cast the worm into the sea, where it lay for thousands of years. Now let us speak of today, my children. The Demiurge tempted Andrew Ryan, and I was his disciple, a blind architect myself. Arrogant of my gifts, I raised this shrine to the pride of man, Rapture. Then we, the slaves of Ryan, discovered the worm where the Lord had cast it down, right here in the ocean. And in the envy of the Lord, we did take its dread power into our blood, naming it Adam, in mockery of the one true God. And lo, as we bent our shapes to suit our perverse whims, our false church of Rapture was beset by flood and war. And in the folly of my pride, didst I weep. But hark, for a secret son was born unto Ryan, the immaculate begat of the profane. Then, though he spake not a word, did the son of Ryan smite down the father in sublime judgment, and the dynasty of sin was as dust. The son of Ryan went hence from Rapture, after the death of the father,
but he will return to save us from the demiurge within. Brothers and sisters, the temptation to languish in self-pity is great. Who can deny it? Beleaguered as we are by the sins of our past. But self-pity is no more than a tricky shade of pride, freezing us up when we should act. The Lamb's path leads us beyond the reach of the self, obliterating the ego. But we must work for it. We must not lie caged in our bones, groveling at the ego's altar.
Imagine you are a child, born here, underwater. You've never seen the sun. But rapture is a secret. Contact with the surface is forbidden. So, your parents bring you somewhere to feed you iced lollies and terrify you out of ever leaving the perfect city all around you. That's Ryan Amusements, and I consulted on it. This concludes my business with Ryan Industries. Permanently.
Cazzo! Rapture. Questa città è come un castello di carte in una piscina per bambini. Adesso la Lamb è fuori gioco e Ryan vuole che trovi un modo per neutralizzare la famiglia. Non dovrebbe essere difficile. Quella strizzacervelli era il loro collante. Senza sono perduti. Ma di questi tempi Ryan non è esattamente come una rocca di Gibilterra. Questo Atlas gli sta dando del filo da torcere. Cosa resterà di questa città quando la situazione tornerà alla calma?
This scout plasmid is great. Be somewhere you ain't. Tough to get your head around, huh? But the old skin and bones takes a load off while the mind goes for a stroll. I can see whatever I want, wherever I want. Gonna splice up with Scout and head down to the ladies' dressing room at the Adonis Resort.
Yeah, new guy keeps calling me the White Knight. I'm convinced the old bastard's nuts, chuckling to himself, muttering all the time. His story doesn't quite add up, I got a feeling he crashed the gate somehow. He's not even supposed to be here. Lutwidge claims he knew Ryan, that they worked together. Yeah, sure. Ryan's got more sense to bring a lunatic like this down here. The old boy does know his way around a piece of machinery, though. That could come in handy. I wasn't sure if I could trust Lutwidge, so I figured I'd give him his first taste of Sinclair sauce, Wherever he came from, he's one of us now.